Yes, good afternoon, everyone. And first of all, let me thank Mr. Raj Sharma from AICRA as well as his entire team. And but I'm much more thankful to you all, those who are sitting in this hall, and especially giving me attention for this particular time, skipping your lunch for some minutes. So I'm really thankful to you people that you are the one who are really hungry for the knowledge or the session which I'm going to take for. So really thanks a lot. My name is Shreyans Vasa. I'm a country manager and director for a company called Suprema. Suprema is a global leader in biometrics and security. For this session, it is going to be a small, I wanted to make it interactive, but I can see very limited faces. I'll still try to be interactive. And thanks to Shikha, Rahul and team that, giving me the stage at this particular time. Okay, so the topic is interesting. The topic is how use of an AI can enhance the biometrics technology in cyber defense strategies. Right? I'll try to break down this entire topic. But before moving ahead, I already thanked your team and all, AICR and the CAPS team. So for a general people like us, what exactly is the biometrics? So biometrics is something which is unique to a person. It is something like your DNA, something like my iris, something like my fingerprint, something like my face, which is unique in nature, and it has a multiple uses. So biometrics is something which is uniquely you carry along with you, lifelong you carry with you, right? And the uses of biometrics are enormous. Like it can be a very simple usage of a attendance of a person, like somebody entering to his company at that time of he's just putting his in mark or exiting from the company. From the taking a SIM like a Geo SIM, you give your fingerprint, you get authenticated through Aadhaar, and you get a SIM card based on the successful of it. So biometrics has multiple uses. Now how come biometrics come into the cyber defense, or the how it is comes into the cyber security? So as you know, cyber security is a big umbrella. Within cyber security, which are the major threats, right? Major threat, if I ask you, you will tell me that, malware, phishing, viruses, a lot of things come into the cyber security. Which are the threats? Hacking and a lot of things. Can anyone tell me which is the biggest threat to a cyber security? Like if you want to give a, kind of threats, which is the biggest one? Or who is the one who is more vulnerable to create more threats? People? Exactly. So the biggest threat is not something, a tool or a technology or a weapon or a software or a code or something. It is we as a people are the biggest threat, because we don't do something which is coded or straight. We have multiple thoughts and we try to become more creative or destructive in nature, and that is how we affect the technology. That is how we affect the system. We try to create some bug. We try to do something which is not defined, and that is how the entire chaos occurs. Yeah. So in cyber security, biometrics is one of the thing which is used to control the human nature or the human behavior. So suppose how biometrics is within cybersecurity. Cybersecurity deals with the logical security and physical security. Logical security, you all have seen, you all have a laptops, right? How you secure your laptop? Through some of the credential, password. You have certain data, right? Certain data which is you mark as a read only, write only, read and write something, attributes and all. That is all known as a logical security, right? So logical security is something which is not seen, which is not physically seen, but you create a logical security out of it. But next comes to the physical security. Physical security is what? It is related to a person, a human being. You want to control a person. Like, if I'm a person, I should be allowed only within a certain premises. Like if there is a server room, data center, electrical room, DG room, any secure, like in this entire auditorium or this entire Bharat Mandapam, I'm sure there must be a CCTV room, right? Do you want a person like me who is a visitor to allow in a CCTV room? No, right? But you as an IT engineer, you must have an access, right? So this is one of the example of a physical security. So within the entire broader umbrella of a physical security or the cyber security, there comes a physical security, within physical security, to control a human, logically to control a person from one area to another, for a time-based access, role-based access, there is a biometrics. And there is exactly, you can use a different technologies, and biometrics is one of the technology which will assure a right person is at a right time, at a right location, right? Access is what? Who, where, and when. So that is exactly the biometrics ensures, right? So this is how I break the topic. Cybersecurity, within cybersecurity, biometrics, how AI can help in the biometrics. Okay, one interesting fact before I move ahead. How many you of have a Aadhaar card with you? All of us, right? There are some people whose biometrics on Aadhaar is not captured well. Like there are some people still in India whose fingerprint image is not covered well on the Aadhaar. Do you know the reason why? Anyone can share? Quality of a fingerprint, right? They do not have the sufficient data points or the, the pattern which is required as a minimum quality for Aadhaar. And that's why for those people there is another credential which is face, right? Now in face there are certain people who again have a challenges in face, right? Because there are dark skin people, there are people who have a challenges in the skin. It happens with most of the people who are in the African countries. So no biometrics in the world is 100% perfect in terms of the data collection. So you always, for a better person control or the highest level of security, always you need a multiple biometrics. It is known as a multimodal biometrics technology. So now comes the interesting fact. So this is a problem statement. I have a problem statement that no biometrics is perfect. Every biometrics has its own flaws or the limitations. I have an AI. Now how as an AI can I make a biometrics experience or the accuracy on a higher note? Can I improve the user experience? Assume a situation, you are entering a premises, there is a facial recognition terminal, you are showing your face, first time it is not happening. After 2 seconds, you are again come back, you change your hair and the attire, you again try to do it. It is not happening. You remove your spectacles, you are doing, third time it is not happening. What will be your user experience? You all have seen DigiYatra, right? You go and you just check in, it will allow you, right? That is known as a user experience. So with AI, what we are trying to do is to improve the accuracy, and with the accuracy, we are trying to improve the UX, user experience, because user experience in today's date is the most prime factor. You want security, but not at the cost of user experience. We all need a highest user experience, but with a highest security. We need a more convenience. And so that I'm going to cover. Okay. So before moving ahead, something about me that, what I do. So this is a bit, I should not speak about me, but yeah, it's something which, I want to share so that you all can relate from where I come and how I am qualified or authorized to speak on this topic. I have 16 plus years of experience in security and fire safety domain. I am a BTech graduate in instrumentation and control. I was not a great, good student, but I was always interested in applications and all. In my professional journey, I started my career with a company called Tech Mahindra as a graduate engineer trainee. But later on, I realized that IT is not my cup of tea, so I moved to a US-based MNC called Honeywell, which is a pioneer in security and fire safety. Then I moved to one Indian conglomerate called Adani Group, where I worked as you can say, from an engineer to a managerial role. Well, I myself did a hands-on job on multiple technologies. You can say core field work. And then in my latest assignment, I am representing a company called Suprema, which is a global leader in biometric and security. I handle the SAARC region, so India and certain nearby countries like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and all. I'm actively involved in a Fire and Security Association of India. So likewise, you have a AICRA. There is an organization called FSCI, which does a lot of things on a fire and security side of it. It has close to 10,000 plus members across India. I'm interested in a lot of things like biometrics, RFID, mobile solutions, something related to BLE, smartphone, QR code, cybersecurity, GDPR, like data protection, DPDP Act, AI, and uses of AI in facial recognition, a lot of other things. And yeah, during my tenure, we brought this business to almost 7x. Like when I joined in 2020, and today what we are doing in India, it is almost 7 times growth in the business. We are very lean team, only 9 people in India, but very efficient team. I got certain awards and recognition. The recent one, which I'll highlight, I got a recent award, which was a 40 under 40 for the business world security. Now I will not get a next chance because I'll just cross 40 age. Yeah, so that is about me. Let me now move forward. Okay, now here comes the interesting topic. Biometrics, as I told you that, no biometrics is perfect. So there are certain challenges when you adopt certain technologies. Always there is a challenges which comes as a gift package with a technology. What is the biggest fear of a technology in terms of biometrics? If I am using biometrics day in, day out, my biggest fear as an employer is something which is known as a false acceptance. It is known as a false acceptance ratio or false rejection. Okay, I'll give you my example. If in this hall, right, whatever people we are sitting, very few, but there are some people who look like each other, right? Now, as a biometric, when I go as a biometric, I will not use as maybe a second credential. I am just showing my face. What will happen if I enter into a company for my in-punch, and rather than my face, if I have a Rahul, his face is detected. For that particular day, attendance of Rahul will be marked instead of me. More challenges will happen when the payroll is generated at the month end. Rahul will get a salary for that part, I'll not get, right? That is a very simple, this is one of the simple after effect of it. But one more thing will happen. Suppose on that day, accident happens, right? My accident happens, the company will say you are not presented on that day, right? Even though I marked my presence, but because Rahul was present, I was not present. Now you see the repercussion of this. This all went wrong because of one incorrect biometric processing. This phenomena is known as a false acceptance. It was a false acceptance, right? A wrong person instead of me. And it is very common for the twins. So twins is the highest level of, the most difficult level of challenge which any biometric company will address. But in a limited data set, if you are using a lower set of Chinese, I won't say a country name, but the lower set of devices or the lower capacity hardware or a known renowned manufacturer, then it will even happen at a 500,000 or 5,000 user data sets. So this is the biggest challenge. One is the false acceptance. Now I think I'm making sense. False acceptance, everyone is clear? Okay. Now, how we are addressing with this? That is what I am going to take in because false acceptance will lead to false person. Rahul will get an access for Shreyans, whichever area Shreyans has defined, right? Someday it will also happen that Rahul can gain access to critical areas, and that it should not happen. It will breach to what? Cybersecurity, right? That is how entirely it is connected. Okay. So we have something known as a Q-face engine. It is an algorithm. How it is optimized? So it comes in two different form factors. This algorithm you can use as a module. So it's a very small module, similar to something like, you can say a dongle size of module, where you can see two cameras. And it also comes in a complete access control device. The device, I think you must have seen any building entrance and all. So the same device is embedded into if you see the left side image, it is embedded onto that, right? So it comes in two different, form factors. Now here exactly you will see. On the left side, what you see is a two image, right? We call it a fusion algorithm. Okay, now first thing, as I told you that, I want to identify whether it is a real person and whether it is a Rahul or Shreyans, because there is a very little chance, right? Because we both look like each other, right? Right now, Rahul is much different, but if I assume that, if you look like me, there are a lot of, visibly, there are a lot of texture and characteristics which are similar to me, right? So to counter that or to identify what we have employed two cameras. Can you see two cameras? So it has two cameras. One is a visual camera, other is an infrared camera. Visual camera will take care of my visual characteristics. Then if you see on the left and right side, you can see two LEDs, two and two LEDs, which are an infrared LED. Now what does infrared LED does? You cannot see in the real eyes. It's like something, CCTV does in the night vision. The same thing happens with the IR LED. So IR LED, what it will do? It will throw IR LED on my face. Whatever is the reflected rays, it will be captured by a IR sensor, the IR camera. What you see on the other side. So whatever I cannot see from Rahul's face on the visually, it will create the 3D image, and then it will be created as a 3D image of it. It will be stored as a image. So when I want to identify any person, I will not be relying only on one visual image. I'll be checking 2 images, right? That is known as a fusion algorithm. I'll go for the best score, right? Maybe it is a too much light on the, you have seen certain areas where there is too much light and facial recognition fails, right? Exactly in those conditions, both of the cameras will come in a conjunction, will work in an efficient manner, and will give me the best matching score. Like there is no light at all. Suppose assume that in this room, there is no light at all. And still I want to identify Rahul. My visual camera will not work, but my infrared camera will work, right? In another condition, there is too much light, too much sunlight, which will distort my infrared image. So in that case, my visual image will work, right? So this is how first image you see the person image in the left side and person image you see in the right side. In any kind of lighting condition, it will work. It will work. And that is how it ensures that, the face recognition happens. Right. This is the similar technology which is there in the iPhones. Second is a mask detection. It is again a deep learning algorithm. So in COVID time, we all have seen, there is a N95 and other mask patterns. But the major challenge with the mask, because we Indians started using the cloth-based mask, right? And that was nowhere detected in the most of the sophisticated facial recognition engines. What we tried to do, we tried AI into this, deep learning. We started learning the different masks, different masks. And then it started identifying a different kind of patterns of masks. So this is the second use case of this. And the third use case of this, we already seen that, people are already using, the false acceptance and all. But the other limitation of a facial technology is anti-spoofing. What if I want to, fool the face machine? Easiest way, I'll take my picture and I'll show it with like this to a machine. Do you think it will identify? How many of you think that, it will be identifying it and it will pass me as a person? You think? Right. So that is the easiest way of doing it. Most of the lower end face machines do not have the liveness detection. We call it a liveness or fake face detection. The reason is simple. To save the cost, they only use one camera of a visual camera. Visual cannot identify because visual doesn't have the depth, right? So in the second image, if you see the center one, you see the input image is similar. But if you see the left side, there is a depth. On the right side, on the fake face image, there is no depth, right? So that is how it identifies between a real person and a fake person. A fake person is a picture. Picture doesn't have a depth, right? Or it will not have the required depth which is required to identify whether it is a fake face or real face. So this is how exactly we identify, and this is very common in foreign countries. You have seen many Hollywood movies, people wear masks and people do a lot of kind of plastic surgery or other things to spoof a face. So that is, face is the easiest one. And that is how, we have passed already one level. There is a I-beta certification. We already passed a level of it, and which ensures that, even if it is a fake face presentation attack is done, the system is able to identify it. The other one which you see left side, what you see is a robust against, performance against various environment. And the third is a mask detection and mask face recognition. So this is all where, AI comes into the picture to improve the efficiency of the device. Now, when I'm seeing the efficiency, it's the edge-based AI. So remember, when you are using a server-based AI, your all data is collected and it is sent to a server. Then the number of people who are using the system is not a limit. It depends on your server capacity. But with just the size of this, we are able to recognize a 50,000 odd people within one small device. So assume you have an Infosys or TCS entire campus in, you can say, the Mysore or something, with this simple one small machine can actually check 50,000 unique people with the face recognition. And that is a much more, you can say, advancement in terms of facial recognition. And we call it a edge-based AI or device-based AI. So moving ahead, I have something more exciting to share. So till now, yeah. No, okay, I'll come to this. So what is facial? Facial is something, you know, I'll show you in a bigger image. Okay, so every human face has this part which is a unique. Your nose tip, your eyes area, the distance between this, the all distance is a unique, like, you know, the pattern of it is unique. And we need minimum this much area, beyond which is common, like, you know, it's okay, like, you know, even if you don't get. So that's why, you know, even if you are wearing a mask, you know, with this part only, it can identify. But of course, the accuracy will be reduced, right? And what you are talking about is the iris. So in terms of iris or retina, it only captures this much part, and specifically your, you know, iris pattern. But because iris and retina has their own, you know, I would say a limitation, or the, you know, the user experience and the cost is much, much higher compared to face. Like, you know, almost 3 times or 5 times it is costlier to implement. So it is more used in a data center or R&D environment for a, you know, multi-factor authentication. Whereas in a general purpose recognition, face has gained a lot of popularity post-COVID, right? Okay, so moving ahead, till now what we have seen is a general purpose accuracy improvement, or the on the biometrics in cyber defense. But now what I am trying to share is more of a, what exactly happens on the security. So we have developed the same module with a certain more analytics, certain more intelligence we put on the box, and we created an AI box which is known as a Q Vision Pro. So from face we move to a vision. What we have done, something we have tried to imitate the guarding, the security guarding, and this module has got the CES award, CES Innovation Award in 2025. We call it a ATM Financial Fraud Prevention, which is ATM frauds are very common in foreign countries, in certain, like sometimes before in India also it was very common. So what we are trying to do is, the same face engine, the box which I showed you, small module, what you see on the left side, on the right side what you see are the analytics which we added on the box. What kind of analytics we added? Gun detection, pistol or kind of gun. Second is a knife, a kind of weapon which is commonly used to threaten the person. Phone detection. This is very interesting, which I am going to take. Like, you know, what exactly the phone detection? Physical threat detection, somebody trying to push you. Hidden face detection, and loitering or suspicious detection. This is all area where we are trying to do it through AI. Moving ahead. So through these images, I'll try to explain a little bit. So what you see on the images are some of the footages from the ATM fraud or threatening calls which are happening in the foreign countries. You see the people are fighting. They are wearing masks or other things. In the second image, the lady is standing just beside that person, right? On the third image on the right side, you are saying that there is some fighting or, you know, arm twisting which is happening. On the fourth image on the left side, what you see is somebody showing a pistol, right? And you are showing again one more on the fighting. So I want to show you one video where you will see what all kind of analytics which we have built on this device. Let me see if the volume. I think the sound is not there, but you will be able to see from the images. So this is what the UI looks like, user interface. It shows a normal situation where a person comes in front of ATM machine. The module is fixed on the ATM machine. Fake face detection, I told you about the liveness feature. Voice phishing. If I use a phone, it will not allow me. I'll tell you the reason about it. Because in ATMs, the phones are not permitted. Because somebody can do the phishing call. Dual faces, when somebody is trying to come to help you or, you know, something like that, imposter, it will not allow. He's trying to be close to the machine. User vanished. User came, so automatically the system gets log out. So user was replaced by another user, so it got a not authenticated. There is a one popular mask which is generally worn by bikers and all, baklava mask or something. Baklava, I can't pronounce that. This one is a normal one. Weapon detection. Yeah, this one was the mask. Bikers wearing helmet, closed helmet. Yeah, so that's it. So that is what I want to showcase you, that with this box, Q Vision Pro, which is an award-winning technology, and I would like to share one more thing. Yesterday also we received an award for AI innovation. So thanks to AICRA and entire jury for that. So this is the technology which I was talking about, and one of the point was on the phishing attack. So this happens with mostly the senior citizens, the people who are not much aware about the cyber threats. So what happens? The call is received. You are guided from a bank or something, like person who is pretending to be a banker or something like that. That you need to go to ATM machine and you do the transaction and you share the OTP or something with me, or something like on a phone he gives an instruction or something. So on those cases, phones are not allowed, right? That's why the phones are not allowed in the ATM machine to do these kind of guided attacks. Because attacker attacks your system later, he first attacks on the mind. Today, nowadays modern hackers, they do not actually hack your system first, they first hack the people's mind. So to avoid that, there was a mobile phishing attack, and that was the analytics which was there, which you shown that even if you put on your phone, it will not allow to access the system, right? So with this, my presentation is almost over. I'll take 2 more minutes for you, because I have something to show you more, like, this is already we covered, the analytics and all. So this is exactly where the module is placed. You can see on the center part of the ATMs, we have done major installation in Asian countries like Korea and Japan. So our company is basically from Korea. And this is the module, the size of the module. If you see, 17 mm is the height, the 30 mm is the width, and 90 mm, so very busy. So we are doing an OEM of it, right? So we can provide it to multiple companies, not only for ATM application, for any kind of such application. We can also develop the kind of analytics, customized analytics, which we can do it. And so I just want to take a brief 2 minutes on what exactly we do, because our journey is also interesting. So the brand name is Suprema. It's basically a company from South Korea. Seoul is the headquarter. We are our own manufacturing facility. We are a 24-year-old company. This year we'll be completing 25 years. Continuously growing company. Our systems are being used by 1 billion plus people. Around 15 lakhs systems we have installed, access control. If I tell you the day-to-day cases, most of you have used these systems during the border security. Whenever you enter any airport, you need to put your 4 fingers during the visa process and all. Those machines are from Suprema. You've been to post office or some banks and all, you need to give your fingerprint. The sensors are from Suprema. Mostly the chances are that the sensors are from Suprema. Sales network in 140 countries. Similar to Aadhaar, we have done the national identification projects for close to 23 countries, which are most of the African countries. We hold 100 plus patents in this. I have not counted the something on the AI and all, but yeah, we have close to 100 plus patents. We are the first one to launch a live fingerprint scanning. And we are the first one to launch a device with IP. Most of the traditional access control device came into the serial communication. We are the first one to launch a complete device working on the TCP IP, which was very convenient. And nowadays, it has become a de facto standard. TCP IP in access control is a de facto standard, right? And Europe, Middle East, and Africa, we are having a #1 position. In India, we are in a #1 position in the enterprise segment. We have 9 offices. Our Indian headquarters is in a city called Vadodara. Our all products made in South Korea. This is our market share. I want to take you through one journey. This is very interesting. So we started as a sensor manufacturing company, merely just we were manufacturing sensor. From sensors, we created the entire hardware, a complete useful device which is used for access control and time attendance. So you can see the left hand, like, in somewhere around 2009, we created multiple devices. Then we created our entire software platform. So today we have our platform on-premise, server-based platform, cloud-based platform, right? So we have multiple platforms. We have our own innovation firms and all. Our company is publicly listed. We are a big-time vendor for Samsung and Hyundai and all such companies. In India, we serve to clients like Reliance. So Reliance, across the group, they have standardized Suprema as a approved product for biometrics and facial recognition. Adani Group, Tata, and multiple such big companies, and as well as data centers, certain metros which are using our systems. And what all things we have achieved in these years? We are the first one to use a NPU. How many of you NPU? Anyone? Want to give a try? Neural processing unit. Okay, how many of you CPU and GPU? Okay, good. Okay. You know the shortcomings of CPU and GPU, or the purpose of CPU and GPU? CPU is a general purpose, right? CPU is mostly the PCs have, laptops have the CPU. Then came a GPU, which was for a specific purpose to run the graphics rendering, 3D graphics, and which will give you a speed, performance, and all, so that your CPU doesn't have too much load. And then comes the NPU era, because we all run a AI algorithm. So AI algorithm needs a specific performance, right? So this NPU, neural processing unit, has a capability to run neural networks and the neural algorithms, which is a very smaller size. It will give you the optimum performance with a very less heat dissipation. Heat dissipation is the biggest culprit to the performance of the system, because if I install this device, the access control device, in a premises, this is an air-conditioned premises, no challenge. But what if I install it in an outer area where it is directly exposed to the environment? In India, like country, there is a 45 to 50 degree of temperature. My device will go into the thermal runaway mode. It will not last longer of the defined life. If I define a life as a 10 years of life, it will be 5 to 6 years. The life will be limited. So that is how neural processing unit helps. The size of the device from 7-inch, it will become a 5-inch device, or even lesser than this, right? So neural processing unit helps in optimizing the size of the device, because everyone wants a compact form factor. Second thing which we did is a fingerprint-based extrapolation of the accuracy, increasing the fingerprint accuracy. Almost we could increase 3% accuracy in the fingerprint algorithm. And with that, we also launched one device, which was known as a BioStation 2A. We are the first one to launch face template on mobile. So most of the European countries, they have a GDPR, Global Data Protection Regulation. In India, we have an act known as a DPDPA. What act states that your biometrics is your own property, or your own, is something which is belonging to you. So in European country, a lot of people, they are reluctant to provide their biometrics. Why? Because once the biometrics are used, they do not know how judicially or how reasonably it is going to be used. So what we have done is, we use your facial recognition template, but we keep it in your mobile phone only. We do not use it as a system. Whenever we want to authenticate, we'll just take it from your phone on a Bluetooth. We'll use it for authentication. Once the authentication is successful, we'll remove your template from the system. So it is as good as used for a temporary basis and then remove it. So your identity lies with you, right? And that is how we follow the GDPR. And then there is we launched our own algorithm, Fusion Face algorithm. This is all I talked about. And with last, I want to share one interesting fact. So how many of you use a Samsung phone? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Almost, I would say, close to 35%. Okay, the good news for you is, Samsung Galaxy phones have a Suprema scanner. The fingerprint scanner is from Suprema. So that is how, we are widespread in the consumers. And that was one interesting fact, or, I can say proudly we are present in a consumer segment, in terms of fingerprint. And companies like Samsung trust on our technologies. With this, I end my presentation. Thanks a lot, AICRA team. And thanks a lot, Shikha, Rahul, and all the office bearers present here. Thanks a lot, audience. You have been a great, even the limited audience, but interactive audience. Here are my contact details. Right? Thank you. Thank you very much.